welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be using again Secret Soft in Mushroom, which is a medium weight 4 yarn right there, and I'm going to use my D hook, a 3.25 millimeter hook, a pair of scissors, and a measuring tape. So let's go ahead and get started. So there's a few measurements you're going to need. The first one is your hip measurement. So that's the widest part of your hip. So you need to measure all the way around your hip. And then from your natural waist, where you want your bikini bottom to sit, you're going to measure all the way around the crotch area here. And go all the way back up to where you want this to sit. So those are the two measurements you're going to need. And I'm just going to call that like your crotch length. So my hip was 39 right now, and where I wanted mine to sit was at about 18. I wanted it a little bit higher there. So if you want it lower sitting, you just measure from a lower point on your waist. All right, so let's start crocheting. So the first thing we're gonna do is go ahead and make our slip knot. And we're gonna make a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this part is very similar to the bra top. So we're just going to chain one more and do 4 single crochets. Skip this chain we just did, that's a turning chain, and just do 4 single crochets along this row. 2, 3, and 4. Alright, just 4 regular single crochets, chain 1 and turn your work. And then we're going to do a ribbing stitch, so we're going to go through the back loops only, not through both, just the back loops. So we're going to put 4 back loop single crochets in this row. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then chain 1 and turn your work. And we're going to repeat that. 4 back loop only single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chain 1, turn your work, and 4 more back loop only single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh my god, and by the way, did you guys know that if you pull the string from the middle, I'm sure some people know this, but I didn't know this for the longest. If you pull this from the middle of your skein, like when you're starting a new skein, just pull this one instead of opening it, it'll just automatically like feed the yarn to you, which is really cool. But anyway, back to this. So this is all we're doing, is making a ribbing, and we're gonna repeat this pattern until this ribbing stretches long enough to hit your hip measurement. so that way you can fit this bikini bottom over your hip. So continue this pattern until it's long enough to stretch to your hip measurement, and then I'll show you what to do after that. Okay, so I finished my band and it came out to be about 23.5 inches long, but it will stretch out to go over my hip. And so next what we're going to do is crochet the two pieces together. Now I will say that I recommend that you have an even number of rows so that your working loop is on the same side as the first tail that you did. So if you don't have an even number, just do one more row, or you could take a row away if you prefer. And yeah, then we're going to put these two together. So fold that in half. And we're going to crochet these two together with single crochets. So what I'm going to do is insert my hook into the first chain space here. Actually, I'm going to chain one first because I didn't do that. So make sure you chain one first. Then go ahead and insert your hook into the first stitch on one side, and then insert your hook into the first stitch on the opposite side, and go ahead and pull up a loop and single crochet. Then insert your hook into the second stitch of the first side and the second stitch of the second side. Make sure your tail is laying across there. Then pull up a loop and single crochet. And that's all we're doing to crochet these two together. Just inserting our hook into the four stitches there and single crocheting them together. And then finally the last stitch on both sides. Whoops. The last stitch on both sides. I don't know why this is difficult for me right now. And then single crochet them together. All right, now they're together. And this bulky seam we're going to put on the inside. So go ahead and flip this so that you're going to be working on the front side here. So once you get here, go ahead and chain one, and we're going to begin by single crocheting around the perimeter of this waistband. So, and I'm going to keep crocheting over this tail. And so you see between the ridges, just like the last video, between the ridges is 2 rows. So we're going to put one single crochet on top of every row, as best as we can anyway. Whoops. So we're just going to do one single crochet for every row and try to make them kind of in the same spot so that it looks uniform. But yes, this is all we're doing for this step, is single crocheting all the way around. And once you get to the beginning of this row, I'll meet you there and show you what's after that. Okay, so I think I have one more single crochet here left. And then when you make your way all the way to the beginning, skip that chain one, but then slip stitch into your very first single crochet of the row. From here, I'm going to put a chart up because there are a lot of options here. So please refer to this chart based on the crotch length measurement that you took earlier. So check this chart out and see how many stitches that you need to make. But for this step, what we're going to do is do half double crochets. So yarn over, oh actually chain one first, and then yarn over and put a half double crochet into that first stitch here. So pull up a loop and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So we are going to continue this pattern until we reach the amount of stitches needed for your size, and I will meet you back here and show you what to do after that. Okay, so once you finish the amount of stitches for your recommended size, the recommended amount of stitches for your size, go ahead and chain one and turn your work. And from here, we are going to do one more row of half double crochets as is. So I did 44 half double crochets, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do 44 more half double crochets for this round, and go ahead and complete this round for your size, and I will meet you back at the end of this row to show you what's after that. Alright, so once you finish your second row of half double crochets, go ahead and chain one and turn your work. And from here we're going to start decreasing. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into the first stitch, pull up a loop, insert into the second stitch, pull up a loop, and now you have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 4, and that is our first decrease. So we made the 2 stitches into 1 stitch. Now we're just going to do regular half double crochets in the middle, and we're going to continue with regular half double crochets until we have 2 stitches left in this row. So I will meet you at the end of this row so we can do our second decrease. So once you have 2 stitches left, we're going to go ahead and do our second decrease. So go ahead and yarn over, insert your hook into the first stitch, pull up a loop, insert into the last stitch of the row, and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 4 loops, and that is our second decrease. Now what we're going to do is chain one and turn our work, and in this row we're just going to do regular half double crochets across. So for example, my first row was 44, and since we decreased in this row, I should have 42. So in this next row, I'm going to do just 42 half double crochets going straight across. And we're going to do this to the end of this row. and then I'll show you the next row once we're done. All right, once you finish your row of regular half double crochets, go ahead and chain one and turn your work. Alright, and so in this next row, what we're going to do is our next decrease. So yarn over, insert your hook into the first stitch, pull up a loop, insert into the second stitch, pull up a loop, and then you have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. And then we're going to do regular half double crochets until we have just 2 stitches left. And so I will meet you there and show you what to do after that. Alright, so I just have 2 stitches left in this row, so I'm going to go ahead and do my second decrease. Yarning over, insert into the first stitch, pull up a loop, insert into the last stitch of the row, pull up a loop, and my yarn split, there we go, and then pull through all 4 loops on your hook for our next decrease. Go ahead and chain 1 and then turn your work. And in this row, we're going to do regular half double crochets all the way across. So you're probably starting to see the pattern now. It's every other row. One row will get 2 decreases, and the next row will just be half double crochets straight across. So that's the pattern that we're going to do. So continue this pattern until you have 8 stitches left in your row. So go ahead and work on that, and I will meet you there when we all have 8 stitches left. Okay? Alright, so I've made my way all the way down until I had 8 stitches left in this row. So the next step for everyone is to chain 1 and turn the work, and then we are going to do 8 rows of half double crochets straight across. So we're just going to do 8 rows of 8 half double crochets. So go ahead and start half double crochets across. And 8, and then chain 1, turn your work. And then we're going to do another row of 8 half double crochets. So that's 2 right there. That's 2. So go ahead and do 6 more rows so that you have 8 total. That doesn't include the decreased row there. So 8 total. This is actually starting on the front half now. So go ahead and finish 6 more rows of 8 half double crochets, and then I'll show you what's after that. Alright, so once we have our 8 rows of 8 half double crochets, we are going to chain one. Oh, I already did. And turn your work. And now we're going to start our increases. So yarn over, insert your hook into the first stitch and put a half double crochet there. And then we'll yarn over and put another half double crochet into the same stitch. So now we have our first increase. We have 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. And then in the middle, we're just going to do half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then in this last stitch here, we're going to do another increase and put 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. 1 and 2. So now this row should have 10 half double crochets. So we'll chain 1 and turn our work. And now we're going to go across this row with just 10 half double crochets without an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So after this row, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and then we're going to put another increase in the first and last stitches of the row. So put 2 half double crochets in the first stitch, 1 and 2, and then regular half double crochets in the middle until we have 1 stitch left. And then when you have 1 stitch left, go ahead and do your next increase and put 2 half double crochets into the last stitch. So now this row should have 12 half double crochets. So go ahead and chain 1, turn your work. And then in this row, we're just going to do 12 half double crochets across without increasing. $11 and $12. Alright, so this pattern is going to repeat just kind of like the back side, but instead of decreases, it's increases. So one row will get the increases, and then the next row will be regular half double crochets straight across. And so we are all going to continue this pattern. I'm going to put a chart up to how many stitches you need for your size, where to stop. So for me, you can look at the chart, and actually I switched to 19 inches. So for me, I'm gonna go until I have, let's see, until I have 36 half double crochets in my row. Okay, so just follow this pattern and follow the chart for your size, and then I'll meet you at the end of that and show you what to do next. Okay, so once you get your front side as long as you need it to be for your size, we're gonna have to go around the perimeter of here of the waistband and count how many stitches that we have. Okay, so when you get your total amount of stitches that you have around this perimeter, not including the back side, you're going to subtract the amount of stitches here and divide that by 2. So I'll show you an example. One moment. So around the perimeter of here, not including the back for me, is I have 90 stitches left, and that's why it was important for you to also have an even amount of stitches in your waistband, even amount of rows. So anyway, I have 90 stitches here, and the front side of my bikini is 36. So 90 minus 36 is 54, but we want the 54 to go, we want the 36 to go directly in the middle of this, what's left. So there's 54 extra stitches on both sides. There's 54 extra stitches minus the 36. So you want to divide the 54 by 2, and that'll give you how many stitches belong on each side. So for me, it's 27. So what I'm going to do is just count out 27 stitches and then mark it off. And let me know if you have any questions about this step. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and mark off my 27 stitches on both sides, and then I'll show you what to do after that. So I went on ahead and marked off my 27 stitches on both sides, and I do have 36 stitches in the middle. So once you have your piece kind of marked off, make sure that you know where the inside is, and we're going to crochet this to the waistband from the inside. This is where my seam was, and I want that on the inside, so I'm going to flip this inside out. Flip it inside out and then bring it back together. So once you have them together and you know where you're supposed to crochet them together, go ahead and insert your hook into your first stitch. And then take your working yarn, got a long loop there. Take your working yarn and pull it through that first stitch like that. Okay, we're actually just gonna chain one here, and then we are going to slip stitch these together. So insert your hook into the next loop and insert your hook into the next stitch of the second stitch of the top of the bikini, and pull it through both and then slip stitch. So insert your hook into the third stitch and then insert your hook into the third stitch of the bikini top and pull it through both and then slip stitch. And this is pretty much all we're doing, is just going one stitch at a time, making sure that they're lined up. Be careful not to skip any. Be careful not to go through any stitches twice, so that you get a nice clean seam for the front of your bikini. So go ahead and continue this, and I will meet you at the end of this row. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Slip stitch them all of your stitches together. Go ahead and chain one, and then cut and tie off. And all you have to do is weave in that one string and you are finished. Thank you guys so much for watching, and in the next video I'm going to do my bikini top and my bikini bottom and add some lace, a lace border to both of those. So I will meet you guys in the next video if you're interested in that. And thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos.